The importance of science and technology cannot be overemphasized. The necessity also extends to agriculture. You're welcome to another edition of Green 360, the world of agriculture. I'm your host, Michael Nath. We'll be right back. We're now in the quality assurance section of the Pali Agro Farm. And I have with me here the quality assurance manager. The quality assurance manager is our Joan. She's going to tell us everything that goes on in this very department. Awa, nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
So, you've heard me during the introduction. Yes, we know that here is the laboratory by merely looking at the bottles and stuff. These are things you can find in any laboratory, but we don't know the exact thing that goes on here. Please, can you enlighten us on this?
Yeah, the laboratory is an aspect of the quality assurance department where tests, analysis, different kinds are carried out on food products and other products. It can be food, it can be non-food. But the laboratory is where the products are tested to make sure that one, they meet requirements. They meet the specified standards. You know, every product in Nigeria has a regulatory body that is setting standards for that product. Each product must meet certain standards that befits customers. So what we do here in the lab is to make sure that the product we produce meets those standards for the benefit of the company and also for the consumers, which are the end users.
Does every company of this nature have this department?
Of course, yes, we have. As I said earlier, both food and non-food, there is a laboratory, because as you are producing blindly. There are some microscopic things in that food that you don't know, in the food or the non-food, that you don't know if it's good for the end users. So the only way you can be rest assured that the product you are producing, it's okay, it can go out there, to not cause any harm or any problem, is by doing the tests in the laboratory.
Now, this is Pali Agro Farm, and there are different departments. Do you relate with all these departments?
Yes.
All these various departments?
Yeah, we do.
Now, what you do with a particular department, is it the same thing you do with all the departments?
No, it's different.
Now, let's take them one after the other.
Okay.
Name the department and tell us what that department does, what it produces, and your role in the production process.
Okay. Here in Pali Agro, we have the soya factory. That is where we process the soya bean meal for the birds, for poultry. So what we do in the soya refinery, the soya factory, is for the bean meal, soya bean meal, that is used to produce the feed meal for the birds, for the poultry. What we do is we carry out what is known as urease activity test. Urease test. These urease tests are tests to find out, because the soya bean is responsible for the protein in the feed meal. So, and we know the nature of protein is, if it is overcooked, the structure of the protein is denatured. That means it will not give you what you want. And if it is also undercooked, it will not give you what we want. So what we do is, we in the laboratory, we test the bean meal, we test the meal, we test for the protein contents. If in the production process, in the process of producing it, if the protein is not denatured, once it is denatured, it will be reduced. So we test for the protein contents. We do the analysis for the protein content and also the release activity, whether it is overcooked or undercooked.
Is being overcooked or undercooked the only challenge in the production process of the soya bean oil or something?
No, it's not.
So what are the other areas?
We also do protein analysis to check the protein contents of the soya meal, because since protein is the only way the birds get their protein through the soya meal. So we check the protein content, if it is adequately enough for the poultry. And also, during the process, receiving of the soya meal, of the soya bean seed, the seed, there is also a challenge there, because at times we receive seed that has a lot of debris in it, stones, sand, and other things, which can affect the machines while producing it. So in the process of receiving the seed, we do what is called debris analysis. We check for those particles. In fact, that is the first step we even do when we receive the raw material, which is the soya bean seed. We check if it is okay. And also for the seed, we check the moisture content. Yes, we check the moisture content.
What are the processes, please?
Yeah, the moisture content.
Like for instance, if you find the stones in the seeds, how do you de-stone it in this department?
What we do is, in this department, we don't de-stone it.
Okay.
What we do is we check for the percentage of the stone. If it is much, we reject.
You reject?
Yes, we reject.
Right at the source?
Yes, because they are not selling us the seed, they are selling us stones. It's a loss to us. If you have a bag that has about 30% of sand and stone, that means you are getting 70% of seed and not 100%.
Which means you also have a role to play in the purchase of these materials.
Yes. So if the debris are too much, we reject. And also when the seed comes, because there are some seeds that are not dry, and once they are not dry, the oil content of the seed is low. And since we need the oil, we need the fat for the vegetable oil refinery, it's also an important factor for us that we consider while accepting the seed. So once it is not dry, we check the moisture content. We do the analysis in the lab and check the moisture content. And if the moisture content does not meet requirement, we also reject.
I understand now that out of the soya bean seed, 2 products are arrived at. That is, we have 2 end products.
Yes.
One aspect of it is the bean cake,
Yes.
while the other one is the oil. The oil is meant for human beings,
Yes.
or do human beings also eat the bean cake?
No, human beings don't know.
Is it poisonous? Is it dangerous?
It is not dangerous, because if it is poisonous, it will kill the poultry, the birds. It's not dangerous, it's not poisonous, but it's not just, let me just say, it's not just palatable for human consumption. Yes.
I'm talking about because humans also need that protein.
They need protein, but not in that form.
Okay.
Yes, not in that form. You can consume the seed as a whole to get the protein, but not when you have removed the oil and you have now the cake.